Welcome everyone to Disruptive Conversations. And if this is your first time joining us, thanks so much for being here. And if you're returning, welcome back. This is the show, this is the time when we're talking about positive change, and that we know that positive change can happen at any point. You are never too late. You haven't missed your moment. Positive change is available at any point in time, and it can happen starting today. I'm thrilled to have on as my guest today on Disruptive Conversations, Amri Kibbler. We're going to be spanning the globe a bit and talking about the importance of confidence, listening to yourself, trusting yourself in order for you to be able to move forward in your life in the way that you would like. And Amri, here we go. She got her request. We're going to be going live. We're going to be buffering for a moment here, waiting for her to come on. I don't know why that hasn't, but here we are. And with tremendous smoothness, Amri has joined us. So great to see you. Amri is here. She had shown us her new bangs last week, and they're working well. I'm doing the side thing, but you are inspiring me. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce the show. We're going to be talking about more than Amri's bangs, much more than that, although they are important. And so without further ado, welcome to Disruptive Conversations with thought leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, authors, educators, attorneys, in which we deep dive into the experiences that these women have needed to navigate and conquer in order to have achieved their personal and their professional success up to this point in time, because there's more to come. And I'm Dr. Risa Reiger, clinical psychologist, and I'm an expert in change. I help people, companies, teams make positive change at any point. And here's the thing about change. We're built for change, but in order to create positive change, you need to disrupt. We need to disrupt a thought, a feeling, a belief, a habit in order to create our 10.0 lives. And that's what this series of conversations is all about. And today, to help us in that journey, Amri has kindly agreed to join us, participate, and help us learn about the path that has worked for her. So I'm going to be reading, because her bio is so impressive and is so multifaceted. So to begin with, Amri is a mom of two. She's from New York, and she's the visionary behind the 2014 launch of Hey Mama, one of the first membership communities to serve working moms. And for the past 8 years, she's led the community focus, spearheading membership and all event programming, which has been a lot. The programs of Hey Mama are so helpful, useful, on the ground, and really on the pulse of what women are needing right now. She is a tremendous networker. She's a connector, and it's part of her vision, her heartfulness, commitment to helping women move forward, that she does all of this. If you can think of a magazine, Amri she's been an Adweek trailblazer, and has been in Glamour, Cosmopolitan, as both an editor and a stylist, as well as Forbes, Times Magazine, Entrepreneur. She's been on the Today Show. What more could we ask for, in addition to the fact that she's here with us today? So Amri, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reiger. That was a very impressive introduction. I'm so happy to be here, and it's just so lovely to have some time to sit down and talk with you. Always enjoyed our conversations whenever we have time to connect, whether it's at one of our events or in another location. It's just always felt so heartfelt. And so I'm really excited for us to be able to chat and share more with the people who are tuning in with us today too.
Thanks so much. So let's go into our first question, and here it is. So, Amy, what is it that you needed to disrupt in yourself in order to have created the personal and professional success you have at this point in time?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. That is a big question. And I'll be totally honest with you. And it's something that I think is really the most important thing. I would say, as I had achieved a lot of success in my life, in my former career as an editor at numerous publications, I still was lacking in self-confidence. And I still was holding on to some of these narratives in my mind that there were things that I couldn't do as a woman and as a mother. And I really had to do a deep dive and, shake that up and change that in myself and really work a lot on my own personal self-worth and my confidence. And that's something that I really tie into everything that I do, because I think that for women, it's the cornerstone to a lot of the difficulties that we have in being able to accelerate and accomplish things. Sometimes we get to a point where we question ourselves, and it's really hard to cross over that boundary. So as like a very big thing, that was something that I personally had to overcome to be able to get to another level of success.
That's a lot of deep diving and a lot of changing. And I think it's important for us to go deeper into this area of confidence, because there are a lot of people, there are a lot of women who may think, oh, wow, she's just so confident. And that's how like came out from the get-go. And I think it's so important for women to know that confidence is something to be built. So could you speak on that?
Definitely. Confidence is a skill. It's something to be built. It's something to be cultivated. And it continuously needs to be nurtured. And there may come points in life where you're feeling a challenge, you're not believing in yourself. And I myself like to keep a running list of things that I have accomplished or things that I've been able to overcome. And I like to go to that list and revisit those things whenever I'm feeling like I don't know if I have what it takes to be able to do something. And my confidence has grown exponentially over the course of the last 10 years, which is interestingly very similar to the time that I have been a mother. There have been so many challenges that I've had to overcome. And even in my more recent journey, I would say that after having cancer, I am so much more confident because I had to really dig deep to get through a lot of tough stuff. And many of the things on my list are just being able to get up and go to work and to keep my company running when I was feeling totally depleted. And I add all those little things, big things and little things to my list. And, I have to remind myself, just like everyone does, that, hey, you know what? I can do this. I can do tough things. And believing in myself is really important as a leader, but also as a person. I also talk a lot about that. I think there's a huge connection between trusting our intuition and trusting our confidence. And as I have become more connected to trusting myself and my intuition, it's also become a superpower for me. When I think earlier in my career, I didn't trust my intuition, quite as much. And we all have that in us, that voice that's telling us the path that we want to go on or the choices that we want to make. And it's a skill to learn to listen to our own voices in our heart and know what it is that we want to do. It takes work.
You put two words together in the same sentence that I think a lot of people might not necessarily have thought of that goes together, which is cancer and confidence.
Yeah, it's true, but when I'm looking at my own growth path, cancer was a huge disruptor for me as a person. And there's different ways that you can go in the healing path. you can just heal physically, but there is a huge call to really have to do a lot of work emotionally. Mental health is a giant part of physical health. And when you're holding on to things, if there's bitterness, if there's anger, if there's, unresolved feelings of things that you haven't been able to complete, it impacts your physical health. And for me, I needed to really go deep on healing on all of those levels so that I could show up as a full person for myself and for my family and feel like I'm moving forward in my life on all of those levels. And that work included really getting to know how I feel about things, what I wanted in life. And that allowed me to trust my intuition more and feel confident in that. But I think that intuition and being able to take action on it is absolutely very much tied to believing in yourself and the choices that you make and knowing that you deserve to prioritize what it is that you want, which means you deserve to be able to follow your intuition. It means that what you think matters and that that you should be able to prioritize that.
When you're talking about that, I'm thinking about the women who have their list of to-dos, right? And things that may be very important to do, but that they don't put themselves on the list, or they put themselves on the list absolutely last. And that becomes part of the hallmark, in some respects, of one model of being a mom. And how do you feel you've been addressing that in your work and in your life?
Yes. So I always say, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? And something else that I learned in my cancer journey was that, we all have like a finite cup. And when your stress level gets to the top of that cup, everything just runs over because my cup became completely full. And in that way, then I wouldn't be able to do anything. I would just be done. I would need to go and lie down. And so I really came to understand that, and that we need to continuously be taking something out of our cup by allowing ourselves to have time and space to think, to sit in quiet, to ask ourselves, how do I feel right now? Okay, I'm not feeling so great. Why? What is it that's coming into my universe right now that's causing me to feel in this way? And getting to a place of feeling good, because we should feel good every day. And when we feel good every day, then we are much more compassionate and empathetic in the way that we deal with other people, with our kids. We're not apt to fly off the handle or, get angry quickly because we do feel like we've taken care of ourselves and our stress levels are down. And that's really good for everybody in our lives, right? Our kids, our partners, our friends, but the people that work with us too, because you can be a lot more intentional and productive when you're in a good headspace than when you're feeling really stressed. Then you might be more reactive or rushed. And so putting yourself on the list, yes, but you need to put yourself at the top of the list, because when you're at the top of the list, everybody wins.
I'm going to take that motto, and I think for everybody listening, remember, when you put yourself at the top of the list, everyone wins. Rather than, if you're putting yourself on the top of the list, you're just being self-absorbed and you're not really caring about others. And I think that's a tremendous mental shift and paradigm shift.
Definitely. That was a big shift that I had. So before cancer, and I'm not saying that cancer was like a great thing that happened to me, but I have found a lot of benefit from, the shifts in my mindset and the things that I've learned. I was definitely on the bottom of the list, and I would do things like try to steal time to squeeze in something else. And I've also learned that you can't steal things from yourself. You can't steal time. You can't make more time. Um, and if you're not, carving out some of that time to nurture yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, then you really are actually going to get less done.
How has it been for you? And one way that women are operate is that oftentimes we can be great givers. We see a friend, we have a friend in need, we really can show up and be giving. And oftentimes we're not so great. I was just having a conversation with friends about this at dinner earlier this week, that sometimes we're really not so great at signaling or being clear. I need help, one, and or two, when people offer it, to be able to receive with grace.
That's definitely true. And something else that we're not that great at, that your question just reminded me of, is we can be really compassionate when we're talking to other people about mistakes that they made or that they need some space, and we're very kind and empathetic for them, but we're not so kind and empathetic for ourselves. And so if we can just treat ourselves like we would a child or a friend, then that also makes a huge difference. And sorry, what did you ask me?
Don't worry about it. We've just moved on to where we are right now. I know that. Well, I was talking about how we're so much better. We can be so much better at being the givers rather than either letting our friends know that we need, or when friends are offering, people are offering, that we really have a hard time just like opening up the space and being able to, what I call, receive with grace. Oh, it was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I've really got this. No, you're really busy. And we push aside the receiving piece of it. Do you notice that?
Yes, and I will fully admit that I still have a hard time with that. It's a challenge. And another thing I learned from my cancer journey, so I had cancer in 2020, and then I had a recurrence in 2022. So I had surgery later. So I had sort of this wave of being sick. And I will say, when I initially got sick, I was like, no, I'm fine. I don't need any help. Like, we're good. And I learned, how powerful it is to accept help and receive help, even if it is just messages and little gifts or any kind of little reassurance. And there's just so much in the giving and the receiving that brings you so much joy. And it's just as powerful to be the one that's giving the help. And as moms, we're really good at that. We understand that. We understand how that feels good. But saying I need help and I deserve to receive help is really hard for us. And like some of the things that I did, I started making a list of things that people could help with, and I would just
Wow.
keep the list. Um, Another cancer friend recommended that I do this because people want to help you. Um, and it's hard to think of things in the moment. So you can even just offer them little things that you need. Like, I could use a ride for my daughter on Thursday, or a meal, or even like help with something that I'm trying to figure out at work, but that I'm just like too pooped to do right now. And making a little list of things can make it a lot easier for people.
You're great at using lists. I'll get to that back in a second. But for a moment of transparency here, I fess up and I own up to this 100%. So several years back, I broke my wrist. I mean, like, I really broke my wrist. I had pins and nails and pieces put into it, and I'm in a sling, right, with and one-handed. A friend of mine calls me up and says, she's a great cook. She's cooking away, and like, can I cook something for you? I'm really good with that. I have one hand, and I'm like, no, that's okay. I've got this. I know you're really busy. No, really, I'm happy to do that. No, it's really okay. I've got this. And I got off the phone, and it had that moment, and I said to myself, I will never do this again. I mean, like, what else needs to happen for me to learn from this? I have one hand, and I'm like, oh, no, no, no. It's really great. I've got this. Come on. So what you are doing is that you're writing lists. You're writing lists of remembering your accomplishment to help you with your self-confidence when you're in those spaces of, I'm not feeling really good about my efficacy and my impact. And you're writing lists of what people can do to actually help you so that when they're calling and or you can call out to them for the people who are available and have made themselves available, that you can be specific about, I want this. And what a step that is for women to say, I want this, without having to be in dire straits.
And you can even give that list to your person if you're tired, and that's asking for help from that person. Can you be my person? Here's some things that I need. And then that person has a role and they feel really happy to be able to contribute to your being.
Being able to help someone is such a space of feel good hormone, of oxytocin, of feeling connected. That's part of what makes mammals mammals. And it's an opportunity to not feel isolated and not feel alone. And I'm wondering if part of creating the community of mamas is that oftentimes women can feel isolated and can feel alone in the challenges and the struggles and the dreams that they have.
Absolutely. One of the biggest contributors to women feeling successful and feeling happy and fulfilled is the relationships that we have, right? It's having those authentic relationships. And we all know you can be feeling like a little meh, right? And then you have a great conversation with someone and you get really sparked and all of a sudden you get excited. And I see it all the time. Mothers will come to a Hey Mama event and they'll be like, oh, okay, I got here. And then by the end, they're so excited and recommitted to achieving what they want to do and ready to go out there because they've had that spark and they've had that connection and they're seeing how someone else is doing it. And they're using that to really fuel their passion and their excitement to get back in there in on the business side. But even just as humans, like for all of us, having really strong authentic relationships, I think is one of the biggest contributors to feeling happy and feeling a sense of well-being.
And if I could pull out from what the last time I think we saw each other in person, and I'd love for that to happen again. And if you wouldn't mind, going back to confidence, I mean, we all get nervous. I get nervous, you get nervous, and sometimes it doesn't matter how many times we do something, but we can get nervous. But that's not it doesn't mean that we're inadequate, we're inept. If we thought we were better, we could do it. That it's one of the things that happens. And I remember I was just walking by, and it was at I think International Day of the Woman, and there were some women. I think you were there, who were feeling a little bit. I think sometimes that nervousness is about wanting to get up and do your best and really being able to deliver the best that you can give. And so when we aspire to be givers in that kind of way, we can also feel nervous. And that there were a couple of women who were feeling, nervous about going up and doing this. And as I was walking by and overhearing this, and one of the things I say about New York is the space of the unsolicited opinion. If you'll say something and somebody from across the room will chime in, right? And I was hearing this about the nervousness, and I said, well, if it's okay, let me hop in, let me jump in and help, because I can do this. And had a couple of minutes of, how to do this, how to welcome people, how to make people feel comfortable and connected. And that's all that you're doing here, whether it's 3 people or if it's a room of 100 people, it's still the same thing. And everybody went up and really brought what they wanted to bring and really delivered it. I think that it's also important to note that being competent and being confident doesn't mean that you don't get nervous sometimes or you don't have those kinds of jitters, you think?
I mean, I think everybody gets nervous. I definitely get nervous still. It doesn't matter how many times, but I have started to reframe it. And instead of saying I'm nervous, I say I'm
Yeah.
excited because excited is positive. And I find that my brain starts to think like excited. Okay, we're excited. It's that same kind of up energy, but the positive aspect of it um, just changes the dynamic for me.
That's so important, and that oftentimes there's, and I'd like to for us together to bust this piece of mythology, especially as you were talking about being compassionate, and you're talking about being compassionate the way you would with a child or with a friend, so bringing that compassion to yourself. I would even go as far as saying that the compassion that you would give to a total stranger, a stranger on the street, we don't necessarily give that to ourselves. And there's this lie and this piece of mythology that's being perpetuated, which is that, when we're really being honest with ourselves, if we're really being honest and we're being brutally honest, uh, that's really the space where we're having the strength to really look at ourselves. And that is so not true. And as a matter of fact, if you want to get better at something, the way to do it is not being brutal with yourself, because that's the first hurdle that you need to get past in order to be able to implement and bring something different into your behavior.
Absolutely. I think self-compassion is the most important space. And I just feel like gentleness in all areas of your life is such a key resource. It's like being gentle with yourself, allowing yourself to open up and have those feelings, gentleness in the way that you interact with other people. Like, you know, it's a superpower that women have is our feminine inclination and the way that we can utilize it. Even with like dealing with my children, I found that I shifted into being a lot more gentle, even in the way that I'm trying to guide them with things. And that's been really helpful in my relationship with them. It's been helpful in my relationship with myself and all of the things. Like, it's a beautiful part of us as women that we are nurturers and that we're gentle. And we should utilize that in a way that helps to support us and our success and all the things that we do and our success as business leaders as well, and interacting with our teams and employees and all of that. Like, it's a beautiful way to facilitate leadership is from that lens as well.
It's taking that space and really bringing it and changing the paradigm, and for you being a disruptor in this space, in that kindness and gentleness does not mean lack of strength, lack of determination, or lack of ambition.
Absolutely. All of those things can coexist. And also that ambition is not a dirty word. And it's women should be ambitious, and you can be ambitious and be nice and be gentle and be kind and empathetic and all of those things in a space where women are supporting women and we're allowing each other to thrive and grow together, which is like the beautiful part of community and being able to access the learning from someone else so that maybe you don't have to go through that, or resources that they may have, and all of those things, and bringing it together.
And shifting that paradigm, embodying it, letting other women see it, using words. And I love what you're saying about confidence, ambition, success, goals, that this doesn't take away from our humanity, from intuiting within ourselves and utilizing that to help really bring out to the fore what we need. And I want to make sure that we touch on this because we chatted about it a couple of minutes before we went on together, which is bringing that intuitiveness into, and I want to underscore this again, both for mental health and for physical health, that intuiting what is going on inside of you and making sure that you're tending to all aspects of your health, including your mental health, staying in touch, connecting. And could you talk about how that is so valuable, particularly as we're shining light on it during Mental Health Awareness Month?
Absolutely. I would advocate for anyone, women especially, but anyone, to check in with yourself for even 30 seconds in the morning and ask yourself, how am I feeling? Like, is there something in my physical health or in my mental health that needs support right now? And like just taking a couple of breaths and giving yourself that space. It's so important. And as doctors know so much, but they don't know what's going on exactly inside of you. And we're all different human beings. You are the one person that's really going to know if something is off. If there's something within you that needs help, that you need to continue to advocate for and look into until you find an answer as to what is going on with you, why you're feeling that way. Whether, okay, if you find out it's something small, fantastic. But I would urge you to continue to, look for another doctor or continue to research until you feel like you found the answer to either your physical health concern or mental health issues. And taking steps to do whatever it is that you need to do to make yourself feel good, even if it's taking a day off to spend some time alone and to rest, or taking time to go to another doctor or talk to a counselor, or all of those things is just very important.
Don't give up. Don't
Don't.
give up. Don't give up. Listen to yourself, hear yourself, and continue until you know that you've been heard. So I knew this would happen. We're at our end time. And first of all, I want to thank you so very much. And here's, you've been disrupting, you've been growing and disrupting and taking in community with heartfulness, wicked sharp smarts. Let's not forget that. Confidence, using your skills. Your resume has been outstanding, and you never leave any of that behind. So, Amri, what is your next disruption?
Um, we have a lot of things coming out actually. So Hey Mama was actually acquired a little earlier this year. And as a part of that, we are going to be rolling out a whole slew of different innovations and new things that are going to be coming out through the rest of the year. What you'll have to stay tuned to hear about all of those things. We have a new parent brand and so many things I'm very excited about that are going to allow us to really bring more connection, more business resources, more opportunities to the Hey Mama community, and also to expand and to reach all moms and help them with their confidence and feeling successful. So there's a lot of things that are coming up. And then we recently had our Motherhood on the Resume event, where we really speak to moms who have taken a pause from work and are looking to get back into the workforce. And Hey Mama has created a great new free resource for anyone that wants to access it, where we house all of our resources. So if you have taken a pause and you're looking to get back into work, I would encourage you to check this out. There's resume building resources. We have a resource on like the best places for parents to work that will help you understand where you can get great parental leave, lactation rooms, mental health support, and so much more. So you can learn more about Hey Mama at heymama.co. And I would just encourage you to follow along and to check out our resources.
So at this point in time, we get to take our cover shot.
Okay.
You have much more experience with cover shots than I do. So I'm gonna follow your lead.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna do a little flip. Okay. Okay, let me know when you're
Okay, I'm
ready.
ready.
Okay. And one more as a backup. Amri, thank you so much. Everyone who's joined in today, thanks so much for joining us on Disruptive Conversations. If you've missed some part of it, if you need to let somebody know that they need to hear this, because Amri has come on and really just loaded us up with valuable information, you're going to be able to find it on Instagram Live. We're posting it. And also come join us next time. And positive change can happen at any point in time. And remember, I saved a seat for you. See you next week.
Thank you so much.